Game Commission told him that I was a liar, that didn't happen.
Oh, really?
He said that there's no way that could happen because somebody would have taken a picture of it.
Right.
No, I didn't. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. I just come off a 12-hour shift.
The last thing you're thinking about is grabbing something.
And when I come around that curve and that thing jumped out in the road in front of me and I hit it, naturally I first thought, I knew it was a cat, and I thought it was a bobcat. But by the time I got stopped, I thought, nah, that ain't a bobcat. I backed up, and I opened that door, and that cat was right there, and it had a mountain lion's face laying dead on the road. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't a full-grown one, but it wasn't a little
tiny cat.
It was, I know it was a juvenile cat. And I was going to get out of the car, and the first thing I thought, I was like, no, I don't know where Mom's at. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I have nothing with me to protect myself.
No.
And I was so angry that I hit it. I mean, I'm the type of guy, I will stop and probably damn near wreck my car so I don't hit a squirrel.
I just dodged the squirrel coming over here. Did it do any damage to your vehicle?
It split my spoiler under me. I had a...
what do you drive?
That was that 2002 Stratus.
Stratus, okay. So that's a low-profile car.
Yeah, and it split the spoiler under it. And I went to work, and I should have picked it up in the back of my car. I was thinking about doing that, and I thought, no, because if I do that, and the Game Commission finds out, because I know they
might think you poached it.
They chipped it. If it's a chip,
they'll come find it.
You know what? I'm kind of... Here's my thing about that. Maybe I'm wrong about the laws, but they protect mountain lions, but they say they're not here. Why are you protecting something that's not here?
Exactly.
I mean, and so if you would have taken it,
well, they have to
they might have been
to protect it. I mean, it's a lot of money involved if they announce it as a protected item.
Now, I went to work the next day, and I told guys at work, because you have to be careful what you say around here about things like that, because people look at you like you're stupid. And I was telling the one guy, he was from older gentleman I worked with, he's from out around Penn Run area. And I told him about hitting me. He said, oh, this is probably a bobcat. I said, no, Twig. I said, I backed up. This was not a bobcat.
You got a first-hand look
I
at
know what a bobcat looks like. We've had bobcats here. They're all through up here, you know. And I said, this was a big cat. I said, from nose to tail, that covered one complete lane of the highway.
Wow, that's a big cat. That's a big enough cat.
But it wasn't that big.
Can you say that again? That car went by. How big was it?
What I'm trying to remember is 4 o'clock in the morning, like from nose to tail, and this was right here on 259, about 3 miles off the road.
Right near here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from nose to tail, that thing covered almost a complete one lane.
Whole lane.
Lane there. Almost, yeah. I would say.
I mean, that's it was, like 10.
That's 8 feet.
10 feet, right?
Yeah, I would say probably. I don't know if it would be. I would guess it probably between 6 to 7 feet, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, but like I said, it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
The nose to the tip of the tail.
Yeah.
And how much do you think it weighed, maybe?
I don't even know. I know
100 pounds.
How many of him would it make?
Of her?
Rem's 50 pounds.
She's 50 pounds.
So would it be 2 or 3 of those size?
I would say 2, maybe not quite 3, maybe 2.5.
Just under 3.
Rem would have been an appetizer.
Well, that's a healthy animal.
It was way bigger than the dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it was way bigger than a bobcat. And
yeah.
It didn't have a short tail.
And you know
it had a long. I mean, it had a tail.
It had a tail.
Right. Bobcats have a little snub.
And they have that.
When I
cheeks, it's
went to work,
smooth.
and I told the guys at work about it, and the one gentleman, Twig, said, "Oh, it was probably a bobcat." And I said, "No, Twig, it wasn't a bobcat. I know that." And he says, "Well, too bad you didn't get a picture of it." And I said, "Well, I didn't think of it." But then I just got into the modern day smartphone. I had a flip phone then.
Hey, what year was this?
This was what, 2 years ago?
2 years, recent.
2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was saying about it. He said, "We should at least grab some hair out of it." And I said, "Okay." I went over to my car and I reached down, and where it split my spoiler, I pulled out a tuft of hair, and I showed it to him, and he looked at me and he says, "It looks like deer hair." He said, "But it's not deer hair. It was light colored like a deer hair."
That tawny fawn
it was,
color.
and he looked at me. He says, "Well, he like I said, he lives in Penn Run area, and he said he's seen people or heard people saying about hearing them." Well, I was talking to another friend of mine at work, and was telling him about it, and he's kind of skeptical, you know. People, you hear stories and stuff, and it was probably 3-4 days afterwards. Now he lives on 217 outside of Blairsville, going towards Indiana, and that. Well, he lives on Newport Road. You turn off there, and he has some property down there, and he has a buddy that hunts, and his buddy had trail cameras out, and his buddy got on 3 different trail cameras, got pictures of that.
Oh, really?
Of a mountain lion.
Does he still have them? Would he share them?
I don't know. Todd retired, so I don't even know if I can get a hold of them
It
anymore.
would be wonderful to get a hand on those and look at them.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
They were night pictures of it. You could definitely see that it was
The
a big
head
cat.
and everything
Yeah,
usually
you
is
could see.
distinctive.
So you hit one. He's got pictures of it. You have hair.
I had hair. I don't have.
Well, you
anymore.
had it,
Where did
right?
it go?
But you had a cracked bumper.
What'd you do with the hair?
I don't even remember. I'm still angry about hitting it because I don't hit animals. I mean,
It must have just came right out.
Oh, it did. I come around the curve and it out in front of me, and
Well,
it
you
was
surprised
like,
it surprised you.
I mean, if
it
you're
actually
looking
jumped out of the brush off the gas line right there as I come around the sharp curve, and it jumped out, and it happened so quick.
And
When you come up
you'll be
out
able
of the
to
road
show us on the map
and you
where
carry
you hit
down
it,
the
right?
word
Like, so
here,
I can pinpoint
you
it.
went around that first sharp curve.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, like I'll pull it up and you could say.
That's where
you got 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I'll take
when
you
you
out.
made the
Right.
100 miles of road and you made that
okay.
sharp curve, as soon as
Yeah.
you come around that sharp curve, there's a gas line.
Right, yeah.
We know exactly
You
where.
went right there.
Yeah, we should do
That's
that
where
when we
it
meet.
jumped
Yeah.
kind of like out of there was.
Go up and
I don't
got
even
a
know now
camera,
if
you know.
they trimmed it
I'll
back.
take you up there.
But there was a big high brush right along the edge of the road, right off that gas,
They
and
mowed
it
it
just
off.
jumped right out.
You know, I mean, if you're looking for stories about, you know, this area, Chestnut Ridge area, mountain
I
lion,
know what I hit. I know what I seen.
Oh yeah, you went
There's,
back to see it. That's how you
yeah.
do definitely know. You don't. Yeah, you didn't mistake it to be a big cat and is a dog
And
or a deer.
if I wouldn't have been so worried about getting in trouble by the game commission, I probably would have threw the car. You know, I would have went back out and got it because, well, my buddy Trevor, he was working daylight and he lives here in town, and he called me that morning because I come through there around 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, he was going to work and he would have been going through there about 5:30,
He
quarter
will
to
come
6.
right after you did.
And he was saying, he called me on the phone that morning and he said about the bobcat being hit out there on the Roos Curve.
Oh, he saw it. But
I
he
said
thought
it wasn't a bobcat. He said, "Oh yeah." He said, "I rode by and seen it." I said, "Trevor, it wasn't a bobcat."
So
Oh
somebody
yeah,
else saw
so and
the
so
animal.
told me, you know, it was a bobcat, and this person said they seen it getting hit. And I said, "Trevor," I said, "I'm telling you right now, whoever told you that, it's a lie. It's not a bobcat." I said, "Because
You
I'm
did.
the one that hit it at 4 o'clock in the morning."
So he saw it too.
He saw it
saw-
dead,
he saw
but he
the-
thought it was a bobcat.
Right. So was it like in the middle, kind of?
this is Craig's son, Justin.
Like was it in the middle of the road, or?
It was laying across that would be the northbound lane. That would have been going out of town
Okay.
when I hit it.
Yeah.
But
And then you just kept going to work and
no, I was on my way home.
on your way home. That's right.
And I
yeah.
backed in the garage and over at the house, and I was debating, but I like I said, I was tired, and I was just so angry that I hit it.
Yeah.
That it happened so
And it
fast.
damaged your car. I mean, you didn't come out
It
ahead.
didn't
of it.
really do much damage to the car. The car was still driving. It just cracked that under spoiler.
Yeah. And it was dead when you looked at it, or was it
As
like?
far as I know, it was dead.
I mean, it wasn't
didn't-
like still
Oh, no,
half
no,
alive, or
it was not moving.
right.
And then when Trevor called me, I knew it was dead.
Yeah, if it
He
was
had
still
seen
there an hour and a half later, you
And
know.
then Now, this is where it gets interesting because it's to me that the game commission says it didn't happen. Okay, that's what they told Scott.
Oh, yeah.
They told me.
But from here, if you go out this way and get on 711 into Fairfield Township, you're at the game commission's office, right on 711.
Mm-hmm.
One of their deputies lives out towards Clyde area, and he comes that way to go to work.
Oh,
so you know damn well he would have picked that
He would
thing
have
up.
had to have seen
Wouldn't
it.
have left
Yep.
it.
He wouldn't have left it.
Mm-mm.
If he's seen it, if that was the case, he would have picked it
He
up.
would have had that in his.
Now that was the second time that I definitely seen the cat because I killed it. The first time the incident we seen was on 403, and he was with me.
4 o'clock at night.
And it was 4 o'clock in the
Cleared
morning.
entire road.
And he was staying at a friend's house and ended up getting sick that lived out that way. And I lived across the road from that house then. And I had to drive out and get him. So I picked him up and we turned off the back road onto 403. I don't know if you know that area where Joyland, it was a bar, restaurant, and it was 7-Eleven goes through Charles and stuff. Well, we went to turn to go on that road, but before we got there on 403, we just turned off of that lane onto 403. And it's like I seen something running down the road in front of us, and it almost looked black. And then when it finally crossed over into the other lane and got to the guardrail, that thing, you could tell it was a cat. It just leaped over, just the way it leaped over that guardrail. It was
Very
amazing.
cat instinct.
And I just sit there and I stopped and I looked at Justin, and what, you would have been,
I was 10 then.
I was going to say, he would have been about 10 years old, and it's like,
That was my 5th year of baseball.
did I just see what I thought I seen? And Justin said, that looked like a big black cat.
Did you see a tail?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was big.
And you saw it too.
What year was this?
That you would have been 11. You're 16.
No, I was 10 then.
You're 10.
'Cause I was my
So that
5th
would have
year
been
of
about 6
baseball.
years ago.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2013-ish.
And apparently there was also like a circus wreck or something like that.
Well, we heard rumors later that there was
so I don't
years
even know
that there
what
was a
exactly that was.
wreck up on 217 or 271 in Monday's Corner.
Okay.
That they were a certain
Well, that's
traveling
one of the
circus
things
that
you
had
have
a
to-
wreck that a couple cats got out.
And it looked like a physical thing, right?
Oh yeah, it was
It looked
definitely
like an
a cat.
animal.
It was an animal.
It wasn't-
We definitely saw an animal.
It didn't
was
disappear, you jumped
definitely a cat. And it
in,
went.
yeah.
I mean, it probably ran maybe 50, 60 feet down the road in front of us, and then it crossed over and got to the guardrail and stopped, and then just leaped over it and down into the woods.
So,
Matt, is that his name?
Yeah, Matt Strong.
Matt Strong.
so how long do you think you saw that? That it was, you actually, was it like 5-10 seconds where it ran and then jumped over?
Probably at least a good 10, 15
Yeah.
seconds.
So a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We knew it was definitely, but you wouldn't expect that around you.
No, it shouldn't be here.
You wouldn't expect. But this one was definitely black. But I contributed that to being late at night and the headlights on the car. You know, it's
But it was still a cat nonetheless.
it was a big cat nonetheless.
Sounds
But
like
we
what
had
I
heard
saw.
rumor about that wreck. You know, that happened several years ago, and a couple cats had got loose from that traveling circus. Well, that would have been kind of like right up, way up, you know, over the hill, several miles away, but that would have been in that area on that same ridge line.
Yeah, if you want to hear stories about, I've heard several stories, and stories are stories till you hear about it. And I will say this, I had heard a story last winter, north of us, 2 different occasions. There was a llama killed and a horse killed. Now, I had heard that those were throat kills, which is pretty consistent with a big cat. When I seen the Fish and Game Commission the other day with my sighting, he told me that he was the investigator on that. Now, he quickly told me, before I really even got the whole story out, he said that the llama was killed by coyotes, and he attributed that because the ass end of the llama had been eaten out. And I said, well, I thought it was a throat kill, and I thought the horse was a throat kill. He said, no. He said the horse was killed by another horse. I don't know. I mean,
If you're gonna go about horse kills, there's even pictures of it. There's this horse that had his entire face just completely ripped off,
yeah, so
and his entire body was just ripped to
so I mean, I don't know. I mean, you hear
And
this,
it
but the
still
Fish and
lives,
Game
so that wasn't
Commission
a coyote. I have
trying
a
to,
picture if you want to see it.
you
I'll
know,
get it from Mom.
maybe it was. I don't know. I wasn't there. It's hard to say. But there's that one, the trail cam that Craig was talking about. I heard about. Craig hitting one. I heard about. There was also another story here. We're going back, I'd say 2 to 3 months ago. This direction over here is Seward. And there was 2 people in Seward sitting in a truck, watched a mountain lion walk down the train tracks over here. There's a train tracks that run through right over here. Watched them walk through there. And I'd heard that. And again, this was before my sighting, so to me it's like, that's an interesting story. But, and then, you know, I had my sighting, and it's a whole different world now.
That was, yeah, so tell us your story. That was this week, right?
Yeah, that was this